Once you're logged into Weebly and you've created a website, you can begin to edit that site. And so this page that I'm on right now is like your page builder. So there are lots of options here with what to do with your page, and there's several more here at the top. But first I want to go over what's happening over on the right-hand side here. So here are some options for you to go back to a menu, like if you had other sites or you need to log out or something like that. This orange publish button is important. When I click on that, it says it wants to know what address I'm using. So this is the domain that we created for this project, and you're going to want to continue to use that. When you click continue, then it actually publishes your website to the internet. All right. So when I'm in here just building, it's only saving on this website, but nobody else can see it until I publish it. And it's saving all the time. So every time I make a change, it will save that change. But it's not live on a website for other people to see until you publish it. So you want to make sure that at the end and when it's final that you publish it. Okay? I can also switch back and forth between mobile view and desktop view. I like this because I can go into mobile view and I can see what would this website look like on somebody's cell phone, and I can edit it right there. So that's a good way to kind of think about how people are going to be looking at your site. Of course, for our purposes, you want to really focus on this desktop view because that's how we're going to be viewing it. But if you have time at the end to look at the way it's designed mobily too, then that would be something worthwhile to look at. So once you've downloaded a template, it's automatically going to come with a few pages here. Mine has a home page. I can click on About, takes me to a different page, and Contact. So these are like my navigation bars at the top. I'm going to go back to Home. You can delete any of those pages or change those pages, and you can add more pages. Some of you might find that you just want to work on one really good web page, and that's fine. You don't have to have a website with several pages, although that is an option. So from here, I can click on any of these items and start editing. And I can change these. I can highlight and change the font. I can bold. I can link text. I can change the justification and all that. This button here will add a link. So like, let's say I wanted this to always go to the home page, although we have the home button up here. Or if I wanted it to go to my library website, I could say library website and then put that link in here, and I would be able to get to it. Now whenever I click on this bar, once the website's published, it will always take me to that library website. If I come over here to the image, I can edit this image. So I'm going to say add image, and I'm going to upload a photo from my computer. Up here at the top of my image editor, it gives me some options for rotating, cropping the picture, changing the effect. I'm going to keep it like it is. Press save. And now this picture of the library is on the home page. Something else I can do is I can change the page layout. Right now I have the landing page layout, so that puts my navigation here, a picture, and some text over on the side. If I change that, then it gets rid of everything that I had previously done. So you want to make sure that once you start adding information that you don't change the layout. I'm going to go back to landing page. So if I want this to be the home page for my website, maybe I want this to be called the Northwest Junior High Library. And if I want to add any more text, then this is when I'm going to need to use these buttons on the left-hand side that build our page by adding certain page elements. All right, I can add another title. And as you can see, I can drag these around depending on where I want them. And then we'll ask me to edit. I can drag regular text. I can put it below or ahead of that title, and then that's going to have smaller text. I can add an image and text, and now it's going to let me put text next to an image. I can move this picture around depending on where I'd like it. I can add a slideshow of images, and this will allow me to put in several pictures that the website will cycle through. I'm not going to do that right now, but that's an option. And I can delete any of these elements at any time. So I can just take this, once it's highlighted and I've grabbed it, I can click delete. I can also grab this middle bar with the dots and I can move them around. So if I don't like the order I put them in, I can just drag and drop to change the order. If I go down a little bit, I really like this divider. If I want to separate pieces of my page, I'll just add the divider in between them, and it just adds a line, so it creates a little definition. Columns is really nice. If I drag it below, that adds columns of information. So right now I have 2, and I can change it to 3. I can add as many columns as I want. Now you have to put an element in each column. So when we're talking about elements, we're talking about text or images. So if you want the page to be a little bit more compact with information, then you're going to want to use columns. See right here where I have 1 column, I have all this empty space. So if I want this to be in a column instead, I would say that I want image and text here in that column, and then maybe I want another image and text in this next column, and maybe I just want 2 columns. And then I can add that same picture and I'm just going to copy this text while it loads and put that text here. Still loading that file. Start editing this text while it loads. So maybe I want to put all of the staff here. And then I can go ahead and get rid of these just by deleting them. Now I have 2 columns of information, and that kind of makes my page a little bit more compact and tidy. So that's how you'd use columns. And I can add another column at any point if I wanted to add something else here. And I can change the size of the columns. So those are the columns. Button. I can add a button down here. I can put it, maybe I want to just put it in the column here. And the button is just what I showed you before where I added the library website. So you can add one of those buttons wherever you'd like to. I'm going to take that button out because I want to show you something else. I can add a YouTube video. I can drag a YouTube video over to that element. Now when I click on that YouTube video, it'll ask me to change the URL. So I can paste in a URL of a YouTube video. When I click out of it, now it has added that video I want to add. So that's a really nice way to add videos and other multimedia to your page. Something else you might want to do on a website is add some links. Websites have a lot of links on them. So I'm going to put a divider here, and then I'm going to add some more text down below. Link to video. So if I had a video that wasn't a YouTube video, say, and I wanted to link to it, I would use this little chain button, and that will add a link. So if I have a website, I can just put that in right here. I can just paste it into this box. But you can also do a page from the website. So we only have the about and contact, but if there's another page, like let's say you're talking about some aspect of your disease that you're going to cover later on another page, then you can link a word or a sentence or a phrase to another page, or you can link it to a file. So if you have like a PDF or a Word document or something like that saved on your computer, then you can link it to a file. I'm going to save that. And then it changes the color of what you have linked so that people know that that is a link and not just regular text. So this is how you are going to modify your page a little bit. Now if I click on design, this is where I can go ahead and change that theme that I use. So at any point you can change that theme. Just make sure that you know that some of the elements might get lost when you change over to a new theme. But if you don't like the way your navigation is or the way the website's set up, then you can change the theme. I can choose a different color. I'm going to go back to design options. I can change fonts. So the site title is this kind of cursive font. Maybe I don't like that, or maybe I like that, but I want that to be the paragraph titles I want to be cursive. So you can change the font of the different elements of your page, because if you notice here, my titles all have a different font. My site title, my paragraph titles, and my buttons all have different fonts. So that's up to you if you want to keep those or not. And then if I click on pages up at the top, this is where I can add a page. So I can add a standard page is pretty much what we're going to be doing. So I'll just call this page 1. And I can drag and drop these based on the order I want. And let's say I really don't want an about or a contact page. If I click on one of those, I can delete it. And I'll delete that contact page too. Now I just have those 2 pages I added. Let me add one more. And I can decide what kind of layout I want for these. So the landing page is what we already have. A no header won't add a picture at the top, like a banner picture, but you can add your own images. And then there's a short and tall header. Okay. Now if I go back to build, you'll see that I have those different pages here, and I can go back and forth between them. So these are some of the basics about creating a Weebly, and you can get much more in depth into it. There's a lot of other features under this build menu that you can look at, but for our purposes I think that those are some of the features that you will really be using for this project. But you want to try to make your page as attractive as you can, but also what's more important is that it's easy for people to find information on your website. So you need to think about, if you were the person that was looking at this website, would it be easy for you to find what you need to know? And do you, as the website editor, make it really clear what information is important and what information and how easy it is to find the information. Lastly, I want to make sure that if you do a website, that you realize that this is a public website. So anybody can go and look at your website if they have the address. And some people might even find their way to your website based on the words that you use. So I think that on the very first page, I would like it if at the end you add a text box all the way at the end at the bottom of your page. And I would like you to type something to the effect of, this website was created for a 7th grade science project at Northwest Junior High. The actual text that you type in here isn't important. What's really important is that you let people know that you're just a student and you're making a website for a project, so that it's possible that you've made some errors or that you've misinterpreted some of the information that you got during your research, because this is, again, like I said, public. And lastly, when you go to pages, you want to add a page, a standard page called bibliography. I'm going to go back to build. You need a page. Oops, where did it go? Must not have saved it. Save and edit. And you need a page where you can copy and paste your bibliography from EasyBib by just adding a text box here.